Have you ever wondered what truly sets highly intelligent people apart? It's not just about IQ, complex vocabulary, or academic achievements. True intelligence, the kind that leads to wisdom, success, and inner peace, goes much deeper. The smartest people don't just know more, they think differently. They approach life with clarity, resilience, and a deep understanding of themselves and the world around them. And often, they don't even realize just how rare their mindset is. This is where Stoicism offers profound insights. The ancient Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, understood that true intelligence isn't about memorizing facts, but about mastering yourself, your emotions, and your ability to navigate life's challenges with wisdom. In this video, we'll break down 11 key signs that you are smarter than most people, not just in terms of intellect, but in the way you handle life, decisions, and relationships. If you recognize yourself in these traits, chances are you're far ahead of the curve. Let's get started. 1. You focus on what you can control. Imagine a modern professional who's just been passed over for a promotion. The disappointment is real, and the temptation to dwell on office politics or compare oneself to colleagues is strong. But what if, instead of spiraling into frustration, this individual chose to focus solely on their response? What if they used the setback as an opportunity to reflect on their strengths and areas for growth, rather than agonize over factors they cannot change? This mindset is quintessentially Stoic. Epictetus reminds us, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The essence of this teaching lies in recognizing the clear boundary between what lies within our control, our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, and what does not, such as other people's opinions, external events, or outcomes. In today's hyper-connected and competitive world, many people waste mental energy worrying about variables they cannot influence. Social media amplifies this tendency, exposing us to curated versions of others' lives and creating pressure to meet unrealistic standards. A modern Stoic, however, takes a different path. They resist the pull of comparison, opting instead to channel their focus toward personal growth and purposeful action. Consider an entrepreneur launching a new product. They cannot control market fluctuations, customer preferences, or competitors' strategies. What they can control is the quality of their product, their marketing efforts, and their commitment to continuous improvement. By concentrating on these controllable elements, they not only reduce unnecessary stress, but also increase their chances of success. The brilliance of this approach lies in its liberating simplicity. When we focus on what we can control, we reclaim our agency and conserve energy for meaningful pursuits. We become less reactive and more intentional, less anxious and more composed. This clarity of thought and action is a hallmark of true intelligence. To embody this principle, start small. The next time you find yourself frustrated by traffic, a delayed flight, or an unkind remark, pause and ask, can I control this? If the answer is no, let it go. Shift your focus to what you can influence: your patience, your preparation, your response. Over time, this practice will build a resilience that sets you apart. 2. You see challenges as opportunities for growth. Imagine a college student struggling to master a challenging subject. Every failed quiz and late-night study session feels like a blow to their confidence. But what if they reframed this struggle not as a failure, but as a stepping stone? What if they viewed each obstacle as a chance to sharpen their skills and deepen their understanding? This perspective is central to Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius, one of its greatest proponents, wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This profound insight reminds us that challenges are not roadblocks. They are opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more capable. In modern life, this principle applies to countless scenarios. Consider a young professional navigating a difficult work environment. Perhaps they face an unsupportive boss or a heavy workload. Instead of lamenting their circumstances or seeking the easiest escape route, a Stoic mindset invites them to ask, "What can I learn from this?" They might develop greater patience, hone their problem-solving skills, or discover untapped reserves of resilience. This reframing doesn't mean downplaying hardship or pretending that struggles are enjoyable. Instead, it's about recognizing that growth often requires discomfort. Just as a muscle becomes stronger through resistance, our character is forged through challenges. The modern world offers ample opportunities to apply this wisdom. Take the example of athletes who train through setbacks like injuries or defeats. Instead of quitting, they use these moments to reevaluate their strategies, strengthen their weaknesses, and come back stronger. Their perseverance exemplifies the Stoic belief that every obstacle carries the seed of improvement. For a modern Stoic, this mindset extends beyond personal ambition to relationships, community, and society. Consider activists fighting for social justice. They encounter systemic barriers, opposition, and setbacks at every turn. Yet, their ability to persist and adapt transforms obstacles into progress, exemplifying the Stoic ethos that challenges are catalysts for meaningful change. To adopt this approach, start by reevaluating your relationship with failure. Instead of seeing it as something to avoid at all costs, view it as a teacher. Each setback offers valuable lessons if we're willing to look for them. The key is to embrace challenges with curiosity and courage, asking not, "Why is this happening to me?" but "What can I learn from this?" When you begin to see challenges as opportunities, something remarkable happens. You become less afraid of the unknown and more confident in your ability to adapt. This shift in perspective not only enhances your problem-solving skills, but also deepens your capacity for gratitude and fulfillment. After all, the greatest triumphs often emerge from the toughest battles. 3. You seek to understand. Before judging. In a society where snap judgments and polarized opinions often dominate conversations, the ability to understand before judging is a mark of true intelligence. Imagine a situation where you find yourself disagreeing with someone's political or social stance. It's easy to write them off as uninformed or biased, especially if their views clash with your own. But what if, instead of dismissing them, you took the time to listen and understand their perspective? This practice is at the heart of Stoic philosophy. Epictetus tells us, "First learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak." In other words, understanding comes before judgment. It's not enough to react emotionally or based on assumptions. We must first seek clarity and insight. In the modern world, this is especially relevant in our digital age. Social media platforms are often breeding grounds for misunderstanding, where people rush to condemn others based on brief soundbites or misinterpretations. Yet, a Stoic would approach such moments with restraint and curiosity, seeking to comprehend the full context before forming an opinion. A contemporary example might involve a workplace disagreement. Rather than assuming the worst about a colleague's intentions, a Stoic would ask questions and seek clarification. What is their point of view? What led them to this conclusion? By understanding the underlying reasons for someone's stance, you foster empathy and a more constructive dialogue. This is not to say that all perspectives are equally valid, nor does it mean compromising on your own values. However, the ability to approach differing views with a genuine desire to understand is a key trait of emotional intelligence. When we practice this, we open the door to growth, not only for ourselves, but for those around us as well. In your own life, consider how often you might judge others without fully understanding them. How often do you form opinions based on surface-level information or your emotional reactions? The next time you encounter a differing view, resist the urge to react impulsively. Instead, ask questions, listen deeply, and be open to understanding the full picture. By doing so, you will elevate your conversations, deepen your relationships, and expand your own wisdom. 4. You keep emotions in check to make better decisions. Emotions are a powerful force in our lives, and at times, they can seem overwhelming. Whether it's the frustration of a stressful workday, the excitement of a new opportunity, or the disappointment of a personal setback, emotions often color our decisions. But what if, instead of letting emotions dictate your choices, you could learn to manage them and make decisions based on reason? This is a key lesson in Stoicism. Seneca teaches us, make the mind tougher by exposing it to adversity. Stoics do not advocate for suppressing emotions. Rather, they believe in cultivating emotional resilience so that emotions do not cloud judgment. When we remain calm and composed, we are able to assess situations more clearly and respond thoughtfully. Imagine a manager facing a difficult decision regarding layoffs. Emotions like fear and guilt may surge, but a Stoic would advise them to step back and assess the situation with clarity. What is in the best interest of the company, the employees, and the long-term vision? By keeping emotions in check, the manager can make a decision based on logic and principle, rather than being swayed by immediate emotional responses. In a personal context, consider how emotions can influence our relationships. Anger, jealousy, or frustration may lead us to react hastily, causing harm to our connections with others. A Stoic approach would encourage us to take a moment of pause, allowing our initial emotional reactions to subside before responding. By doing so, we increase our ability to communicate effectively, manage conflicts, and maintain healthier relationships. This doesn't mean abandoning emotions altogether. Instead, it's about developing a mindful awareness of them. When we feel ourselves becoming overwhelmed, we can pause, reflect, and choose our response. This creates space for reason to guide our decisions, rather than being carried away by the tides of emotion. As you face challenges and decisions in your own life, take a moment to practice emotional awareness. Ask yourself, am I letting my emotions cloud my judgment? By cultivating this awareness, you will make better, more intentional choices. 5. You value self-reflection over validation. In a world where likes, comments, and external validation have become markers of success, it's easy to fall into the trap of seeking approval from others. We constantly measure our worth based on what others think of us, often losing sight of our own values in the process. But what if you shifted your focus away from external validation and instead prioritized self-reflection? The Stoics offer valuable wisdom on this topic. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it. And it is in your power to wipe out this judgment now." This insight challenges us to look inward for our sense of worth rather than seeking it from others. In modern life, this idea is increasingly relevant. Social media has created an environment where self-worth is often linked to how others perceive us. But for the Stoic, true wisdom comes not from the approval of others, but from an honest, internal assessment of our own actions and character. Imagine someone receiving negative feedback from a boss or a colleague. A person who values self-reflection would not immediately seek external validation or defend themselves. Instead, they would look inward and ask, "What can I learn from this feedback? How can I improve?" This kind of self-reflection fosters growth as it focuses on personal development rather than seeking approval from others. The Stoic approach encourages us to measure our actions against our own values rather than external standards. When we seek external validation, we give away our power. We allow others to determine our worth. But when we value self-reflection, we take ownership of our growth and progress. To practice this in your own life, consider how often you seek validation from external sources. What motivates you to make decisions or take action? Are you doing it for your own sense of fulfillment or for the approval of others? By prioritizing self-reflection over external validation, you cultivate a deeper sense of purpose and authenticity. Ultimately, the Stoic approach reminds us that the most meaningful source of fulfillment is found within ourselves. External validation is fleeting, but self-awareness and growth are lasting. By turning inward and reflecting on our actions, we can ensure that we are living in alignment with our true values. 6. You accept criticism as a tool for self-improvement. It's easy to react defensively when faced with criticism, whether from a colleague, friend, or even an online reviewer. Criticism can feel like an attack on our character, our abilities, and our worth. But what if instead of rejecting criticism or feeling hurt by it, we embraced it as a tool for self-improvement? In Stoicism, this mindset is central. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If anyone can prove and show to me that I think and act in error, I will gladly change it, for I seek the truth, by which no one was ever truly harmed." For the Stoic, criticism is not a personal affront, but an opportunity to examine one's actions and adjust accordingly. The wise person is not threatened by criticism, but welcomes it as a means of learning and growth. In modern life, this attitude is particularly valuable in the workplace. Consider an employee receiving constructive feedback from a manager. Rather than immediately becoming defensive or feeling dejected, a Stoic would take a step back and ask, "What can I learn from this? How can I improve?" By approaching criticism with an open mind, they transform a potentially negative experience into a chance to refine their skills and knowledge. This doesn't mean accepting all criticism as valid or failing to defend yourself when necessary. However, when we approach criticism with humility and an openness to growth, we open ourselves to greater self-awareness and improvement. It also encourages a culture of open communication, where people are not afraid to share constructive feedback, knowing it will be met with a desire for learning rather than defensiveness. To incorporate this practice into your own life, the next time you receive criticism, pause before reacting. Take a moment to reflect. Is there truth in this feedback? What can I learn from it? By approaching criticism with this mindset, you will find that it becomes less of a threat and more of a tool for your personal development. 7. You practice delayed gratification. In a world of instant gratification, where everything from fast food to online streaming is just a click away, the ability to delay gratification is a rare and valuable trait. It's easy to get caught up in the desire for immediate rewards, but what if you could train yourself to focus on long-term goals instead of short-term pleasures? This practice is deeply rooted in Stoicism. Seneca wisely observed, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." The Stoics understood that true wealth does not come from accumulating possessions or fleeting pleasures, but from cultivating self-control and focusing on what truly matters in the long run. Consider the modern example of a student preparing for exams. It may be tempting to procrastinate, watching TV, or scrolling through social media instead of studying. But a Stoic would recognize that the immediate pleasure of leisure pales in comparison to the long-term benefit of academic success. By practicing delayed gratification, the student invests in their future success, choosing discipline over temporary comfort. This principle can also apply to financial decisions. For instance, an individual may feel the urge to buy a new car or splurge on an extravagant vacation. However, the Stoic would recognize that true wealth lies in long-term financial security, not in short-term indulgences. By practicing delayed gratification, they save and invest wisely, ensuring a more secure and fulfilling future. The power of delayed gratification lies in its ability to help us focus on what truly matters, rather than being distracted by momentary desires. It's about cultivating discipline, patience, and long-term vision. In a world that constantly demands instant gratification, the ability to pause and delay rewards is a sign of wisdom. To apply this principle, start by reflecting on your own habits. Where do you tend to seek instant gratification? Is it in your spending, your eating habits, or your entertainment choices? Practice exercising restraint in these areas and redirect that energy toward long-term goals. Over time, you'll notice that the ability to delay gratification becomes a powerful tool for achieving your deepest aspirations. 8. You embrace simplicity and avoid vanity. In a society that often glorifies materialism and outward displays of success, the ability to embrace simplicity and avoid vanity is a rare and profound quality. It's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of status symbols and the approval of others. But what if you could find contentment and fulfillment in the simple pleasures of life? This is one of the core teachings of Stoicism. Epictetus famously said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." For the Stoic, the pursuit of wealth and status is not the ultimate goal. Instead, true contentment is found in simplicity and the freedom that comes from reducing one's desires. In modern life, this principle can be seen in how we manage our possessions and ambitions. Consider the example of someone who lives in a spacious house but is constantly worried about keeping up with the latest trends in home decor, fashion, or technology. A Stoic would view this lifestyle as a trap. The constant pursuit of more, whether it's material possessions or social recognition, leads to an endless cycle of dissatisfaction. Instead, a Stoic would embrace simplicity, focusing on what truly brings them joy and fulfillment. They would appreciate the beauty in life's simple pleasures, such as a quiet walk in nature, time spent with loved ones, or the satisfaction of a meaningful project. By avoiding vanity and the need to constantly impress others, they free themselves from the burdens of comparison and the endless quest for approval. This mindset is not about rejecting all material comforts, but rather about recognizing that true happiness does not depend on external possessions or status. When we let go of the need to constantly acquire more or seek validation, we create space for deeper contentment and peace. To adopt this mindset, take a moment to reflect on your own desires. Are you seeking more possessions, more recognition, or more success to prove something to others? Or are you content with the simple things in life? Practice cultivating gratitude for what you already have and find joy in simplicity. In doing so, you will experience a sense of freedom that comes from no longer being tethered to external expectations. 9. You learn from adversity instead of complaining about it. In a world where complaining seems to be the default reaction to hardship, those who approach adversity with a mindset of growth stand out. We all encounter difficult circumstances, challenges in our careers, personal struggles, or unexpected setbacks. But what if, instead of complaining about these obstacles, we chose to learn from them? This is the heart of Stoic resilience. Seneca observed, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." This insight captures the essence of how adversity can be used as a tool for personal growth. Rather than allowing hardship to diminish us, we can choose to use it to sharpen our character, our skills, and our resolve. Consider the example of an entrepreneur who faces repeated rejections from investors. Instead of letting disappointment derail them, they take each rejection as an opportunity to refine their pitch, rethink their strategy, and develop greater resilience. Over time, each failure becomes a stepping stone toward eventual success. The Stoic approach teaches that what stands in our way ultimately advances us, provided we learn from it. In our personal lives, the ability to embrace adversity as a teacher is just as vital. For example, someone navigating a difficult breakup could easily fall into self-pity, blaming the world for their pain. But a Stoic would reflect on what they can learn from the experience. What does it teach them about their own needs, boundaries, or desires? By embracing adversity in this way, we turn our pain into power, our difficulties into opportunities for reflection and growth. To adopt this mindset, reflect on the challenges you face today. How often do you find yourself complaining about difficulties rather than seeking the lessons they offer? The next time you encounter adversity, ask, "What can I learn from this?" By seeing challenges as opportunities for growth, you empower yourself to turn obstacles into sources of strength. 10. You live according to your values, not public opinion. In a society that often prizes outward appearances and the approval of others, it can be difficult to stay true to our personal values. Social media, celebrity culture, and societal expectations can easily push us to conform to trends or ideals that don't resonate with our true selves. But what if you could let go of the need for external validation and live a life grounded in your own principles? This is the essence of Stoic integrity. Epictetus taught, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." This quote captures the Stoic belief that true wisdom lies in living according to our values, not in seeking approval or validation from others. When we live authentically, we are not swayed by public opinion or the ever-changing tides of social approval. In a modern context, this might look like someone who chooses a career path based on their passion and skills, rather than pursuing a job simply because it's prestigious or pays well. Or consider the example of an individual who stands up for their beliefs in the face of peer pressure, whether it's about environmental responsibility, social justice, or personal ethics. A Stoic would recognize that living in alignment with one's values is more important than earning the approval of others. The challenge, of course, is that this often requires courage. Society may try to push us into a mold, telling us what's normal or successful. But the Stoic understands that living authentically is the only path to true fulfillment. It may require facing criticism or judgment, but the reward is a life of purpose and inner peace. To cultivate this mindset, take a moment to reflect on your own actions and decisions. Are you living in alignment with your core values, or are you making choices based on what others think is best for you? By living according to your principles, you build a life that is truly your own. 11. You are comfortable with uncertainty. The modern world is filled with uncertainty. Whether it's political instability, economic unpredictability, or personal challenges, we are constantly faced with the unknown. The ability to thrive in uncertain times is a hallmark of Stoic wisdom. Rather than seeking to control every outcome, the Stoic accepts uncertainty as an inherent part of life and learns to navigate it with grace. Marcus Aurelius offers profound guidance on this. The universe is change. Life is opinion. This quote reminds us that change and uncertainty are constant, and our internal response to them is what determines our peace of mind. The Stoic approach is not to resist change, but to embrace it, knowing that it is the only certainty in life. In the modern world, uncertainty often manifests as anxiety about the future. For instance, consider someone worried about the potential for a recession or a career shift. Instead of being paralyzed by fear, a Stoic would recognize that uncertainty is a natural part of life. They would focus not on the outcome, but on their ability to adapt and respond to whatever comes their way. This mindset applies equally to personal situations. For example, someone facing a health scare may be overwhelmed by the unknowns, yet a Stoic would focus on what they can control, making healthy choices, seeking medical advice, and maintaining a positive outlook, while accepting the uncertainty of the future. To practice comfort with uncertainty, start by acknowledging the things you cannot control. Instead of focusing on fears or worst-case scenarios, focus on the present moment and what you can do right now. Trust that your ability to respond with resilience and calm will carry you through whatever challenges lie ahead. By embracing uncertainty, you free yourself from the burden of trying to control the uncontrollable. You become more adaptable, resilient, and capable of navigating life's complexities with grace and confidence. So, there you have it, 11 signs that you might be smarter than most people through the lens of Stoic philosophy. By focusing on what you can control, seeing challenges as opportunities for growth, and learning to manage your emotions and desires, you can build resilience and create a more purposeful life. In today's world, where distractions and pressures are everywhere, Stoicism offers us a powerful way to stay grounded, make better decisions, and prioritize what really matters. It's about living intentionally, cultivating inner peace, and not being swayed by the opinions or fleeting trends around us. Remember, these Stoic practices aren't just intellectual ideas. They're actionable tools you can apply every day. Whether it's embracing simplicity, reflecting on your own actions, or learning from criticism, each of these steps can help you grow stronger and more centered. If you want to start incorporating these principles into your life, ask yourself, are you ready to face challenges with a growth mindset? Are you ready to align your actions with your values and live authentically, regardless of what others think? The path to a more meaningful life is in your hands. If you found this video helpful, please like and share it to spread the wisdom of Stoic philosophy. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss future videos on Stoic living and personal growth. Thank you for watching, and I wish you strength on your journey.